Nthekela. I'm the ambassador of Botswana to Sweden, and I've been in the foreign service now for about 5 years. Prior to that, I was at the helm of investment promotion in Botswana for over 20 years.
What is the rhino status today in Botswana?
Prehistorically, we used to have both white rhinos and black rhino populations in thousands, but after which, when we took independence in 1966, the rhino population continued to dwindle down and with slow growth rates. But today, I'm happy to tell you that we are back again with over 300 white rhinos and more than 50 black rhinos in Botswana.
You say you are back on track. You got rhinos again in Botswana. There must have been a lot of efforts for you because the rhinos were almost extinct. Can you tell me what happened?
Yes, indeed. There was quite a lot of illicit killings of not only rhinos, but also elephants for their tusks, the big cats for their bones, because of the belief in other parts of the world where they think that those are they can use for medicine. But however, a lot of joint efforts within the government itself, through the Department of National Parks, Wildlife and National Parks, and a collaboration with the Botswana Defence Force, they took a concerted effort to try and work together and coordinate the preservation of wildlife so that our future generations can benefit. It's not only those two entities of government, but also we have since seen the private sector joining hands with the government. For example, Wilderness Safaris. And Wilderness Safaris is a private company which tried to introduce rhinos in the Okavango area. And as such, then the government saw it fit that it's not only the responsibility of government, but also of the communities that are around those areas that could work jointly so that they can, overcome this challenge. So it's quite a number of coordinated efforts, both from the private sector, the community, the Botswana Defence Force, and the Department of Wildlife and National Parks.
What would you say are the most important reasons to preserve and protect the rhinos?
Well, rhinos and other wildlife are a major source of revenues for the country. For example, if I may share with you today, tourism is the second foreign exchange earner in Botswana. So you can see that it has even overtaken agriculture. It is second to the mineral sector, of course, our main mineral being the diamonds. But we have seen numbers of people coming as tourists, over 1 million per year, coming into Botswana, not only to see the rhinos, but also other wildlife which are in coexistence with the ecosystem. So we take it that our children, our grandchildren, and other future generations have to benefit the way we have benefited before.
But there has been an enormous slaughter of rhinos and elephants lately. I mean, the last 6-7 years. Botswana has maybe not been struck so hard, but they are a target as well. What would happen if, Africa, if Botswana lost these iconic animals, if they, got extinct?
Indeed, it will be a very sad situation. I believe you are quite aware that there was a report in 2016 which showed that about 60% of the elephant population in Tanzania was slaughtered in the past 5 years, from 2001 to 2016. And also you will recall that in Mozambique, over half of the population of elephants in the same period was slaughtered just for the elephant tusks. And in South Africa, the situation is also bad with regard to rhinos. So the Southern African community, or the Southern African Development Community, has teamed up to try and get a strategy where we become harsh with punishments to those who perpetrate these kinds of atrocities in killing wildlife or trading in trophies illegally. And therefore, it means if animals become extinct, then we want to have revenues from tourism. Our children, as I've said, our grandchildren will not even know what an elephant looks like. They will not even have a reference point, and therefore the situation will just be an unwelcome situation that all communities would live without these precious animals, which coexist again with the entire fauna and flora surrounding all mankind in the region.
But Botswana don't depend on the private sector as much as other countries do with rhinos. The government has the main responsibility. Is that a key factor also, you think, for being successful?
Definitely. The Department of Wildlife and National Parks is the main actor. And of course, the rhino coordinating entity, which are both really working hand in hand and backed by the government. Therefore, government's role is very critical and very important because the syndicates that we deal with are very sophisticated. They use sophisticated weaponry. They even have aircraft of their own. They are so powerful such that private companies alone cannot handle them.
So you have become familiar and introduced to something called Project Ngulia. It's a Swedish technology application method to help the rangers to protect the rhinos, report and digitalize their work. Would you be interested to look at that project and see if it could maybe also work in Botswana?
Certainly, those are some of the welcome initiatives that we might embrace because collaboration is key. Cooperation is very important, and learning from each other is also very important. So comparing notes would certainly be something that Botswana would be interested in. And I know that, yes, they are using technology. I have read, of course, I have heard other people say about the collaboration. I have had the opportunity to go to Malden and see what they are doing. It's amazing, and we embrace such kind of collaboration.
What do you think makes Botswana's rhino protection program different from other rhino countries?
Well, what I think makes Botswana's rhino protection different from other countries is, to begin with, leadership, the will from the president himself at the time. Then also it is the communities that surround the nature reserves, because they know that they are going to benefit as a citizen. They know that it is going to bring returns to the economy and create job opportunities. Therefore, the stability and the fact that almost everybody becomes a policeman, so to speak. You know that there are certain neighborhood watches in certain communities. So we have that kind of neighborhood watch within our communities where if we see something suspicious, then we inform the authorities. And the fact that it's not the private sector driving up front, it's the government, that in itself is a plus strategy.
Is there anything you want to add?
But also to say that the belief by certain other people in the world that some of these animals have got medicinal properties is just a fallacy that needs to be cleared from their minds.